to the world. Subscribe now to the Hot 97 YouTube channel. It's Ebro in the Morning with Laura Stiles and Rosenberg.
Let's go to Jamaal Bowman. That's right, the representative from YO, newly elected. Boy, I know he didn't think his first gig in the Capitol was going to start like this. Jamaal, you there?
Yes, sir. Good morning, everyone. How y'all doing?
Are you safe? Are you safe, brother? Everything's smooth.
Yes, I'm safe. Thank God I was safe. I was safe pretty much throughout the event yesterday, but I got to tell you, it was not because of Capitol Police and not because of leadership, to be honest with you.
All right, so Jamaal Bowman, you represent which district in Yonkers, sir?
So New York 16 district. So that's the North Bronx and that's Lower Westchester. So from Co-op City to Riverdale and from Yonkers to Rye, New York.
Now, Jamaal, we've had conversations many times, and first of all, I don't know if we've had you on to give you an official congratulations. You were just sworn in the other day, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So what day were you sworn in, Jamaal?
Sunday. That was Sunday.
Sunday. So you just moved into your office.
Yeah, man. Sunday was the swearing in. Sunday was the vote for the Speaker of the House. And, yeah, so what's today? Today is
Thursday.
Thursday. Okay, so between Sunday and yesterday was just a lot of procedural votes and different votes. So I've been here all week. Just I got sworn in and just been voting on a variety of things.
So take us through, if you can, because you do sound, I mean, we've talked several times. You sound a little angry and shaken right now. Is there anything you want to say?
Yeah, man. So yesterday, we knew it was going to be a long day because we knew the Republicans were going to dispute the Electoral College votes. So we knew they were going to dispute the 6 states that Trump told them to dispute. And for each state, you can have up to 2 hours of debate regarding the results from that state. So we knew it was going to be a long day. We knew they were going to object. We didn't know that the length of the day was going to be extended by the events that transpired. So we were told to just pretty much hunker down in our office because we knew it was going to be a protest and they wanted to keep us safe, but they wanted.
So wait, stop. Not to mess up your flow, but I'm trying to piece this all together. So You all were told that because of the protests outside, that you guys needed to stay close to your offices to be safe. That happened.
Yes, stay in our office. Stay hunkered down in our office. So we anticipated, well, quote unquote, anticipated. That there would be some ruckus outside. And I say anticipated because as we saw with the lack of law enforcement, it didn't look like we anticipated anything. So that was our, those were our instructions. So I was in my office and they wanted us to watch the proceedings just so we could keep up with it. So I'm watching on C-SPAN. I'm watching, Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker, go through the process. I swear, I turned my head, I look back, and it's a different person in the Speaker's seat. And immediately I think, oh shit, they must have, evacuated her because we heard some noise outside the Capitol. So I flipped the channel back to CNN, and I see chaos. I see the United States.
So it happened that fast. Literally, you looked away from Pelosi, and who did you see in her seat? Was that the guy taking the selfie?
No, it was no. It wasn't. The terrorists were not there yet, so it wasn't that. It was second in command. I don't know who it was. He was trying to continue the proceeding. But then they had to shut it all down because the terrorists on the Capitol, man. I mean, so I turned back to CNN and I see, what everyone else saw. And so my mind immediately goes to the War of 1812, right? When the British came back storm the Capitol, burn that shit down, right? So I'm like, what the hell is happening? And then my mind goes to how did it happen? Like, how did we not have enough safety and security to, like, physical body to stop this from occurring?
Well, now, Jamal, this morning, as we've talked through the events yesterday, and I could tell you're very upset because you're not even watching your language, bro. We on the radio, so. But
Excuse me, my bad.
No, it's good because you pissed. And I appreciate your anger because you actually have faith in, in people who are leadership to be able to handle things like this, and especially because it was announced that it was going to happen. You had, for years, people have been playing around like Donald Trump's rhetoric wasn't going to bring this sort of chaos and behavior, and it already has all throughout the nation. And so so people continue to play around, and that's what you got yesterday. But let me ask you something, because this is where I'm at with it. What I saw yesterday with the lack of defense around the Capitol, the lack of presence of, snipers on buildings and things that I've seen at the Million Man March, things that were out there during the Black Lives Matter protests. My conclusion feels like this was political theater. This was allowed to happen so that the Republicans can separate themselves from the Trump supporters.
What do you think?
So whether it was consciously allowed to happen or subconsciously allowed to happen, I agree with you. And here's what I mean. As I listened to the debate yesterday and the commentary on mainstream media and Biden's comments, we have, and I'm saying we because now I'm a part of this body, so I'm gonna talk about myself in that context. We have this myth of American exceptionalism, and we talk about this country as if this is not who we are.
There you go. Get into it, my G.
This is exactly who we are. And when I hear my colleagues using that language, and they're giving these speeches, and they're quoting Lincoln and Roosevelt, and they're talking about this storied history. This storied history is a history of white supremacy.
And violence.
It's a history of genocide. It's a history of violence. It's a history of domestic terrorism. Every time we make forward social progress, there is domestic backlash and specifically white backlash.
Well, and let's dig into it, Jamaal Bowman, Representative Jamaal Bowman. On January 5th, 1923.
Yes.
We just had the anniversary of when the white mob burned down a black neighborhood. An affluent black neighborhood, because the whites were mad that the black people were getting too much financial and political power.
Come on, man. I mean, listen, you went to 1923. I was going to go to 1865, 66, I believe, after we passed the 13th Amendment and Lincoln was assassinated, right? So, like, we have to understand every time we made forward social progress, there's been this type of backlash. We know it. It's well documented. But we have to, a lot of things have to happen, obviously. But I want to see the same energy and response to domestic terrorism that we showed towards foreign terrorism after 9/11. Because as I was listening to the clip before I got on. I mean, these people, no mask cover their faces. They're saying their names. They're saying where they're from. They stormed the house. This is our house. It's a revolution. We're taking it back. All flamed by Trump. He needs to be held accountable. He needs to be removed today. But the thing about racism and what lives in our country is more subtle. It's more quiet. It's in the policy. It's in how we speak. And it's in a disillusion that, oh, there's no way these Trump supporters are going to storm the Capitol. It's insane, man. And so let me tell you something, and I started with this. I was safe because of myself and my staff. We held ourselves down.
Will you tell us how that played out, Jamaal? Like, what did you guys? Where were you, and what did you do?
Yep. So it was pretty simple, man. I just stayed in my office. But what I'm saying is, I was not receiving updates throughout the day from anyone telling me anything about what the hell was going on, about where to be evacuated to, about nothing. And where I wasn't far from where they were. And if they had half a brain, they could have gotten to us too, and we wouldn't have had enough security around us to stop it.
Yeah, but you from Yonkers, so we would have seen different videos. It
Right.
wouldn't have been you. I think we would have seen that YL come out of you.
Listen, man, correct. But my colleagues, man, like I had colleagues who were on the House floor who were stuck in the chamber, and they not from Yonkers, so they never been through nothing like this. So they're terrified, man. I had other colleagues who were told to haphazardly go here, and then they went to a particular area, and there was no security there, and they started running and ended up securing themselves in someone's office.
And this disaster of security and execution of, safety and security is what makes me believe that this was political theater. I help run security at our annual concert, and we ain't this disorganized. And we don't even have people showing up to protest. They announced that people were coming to overturn an election.
Yes.
That was known.
But and we got to understand, this is the United States Capitol. It's supposed to be a fortress, like on a regular day.
On a regular day. Let alone yesterday, a joint session that they knew was going to be protested by crazy people.
They told us to stay in our office because they knew there might be some safety concerns. This is the Capitol. On a regular day, it's supposed to be a fortress. Yesterday, it was not.
And this further confirms for me that the people on the Capitol Police, the chief of the Capitol Police, anyone that works in law enforcement, anyone that is in a position of power, if you are not against Donald Trump, his rhetoric and what he stands for, you're for it. There's no middle ground.
Yeah.
And even deeper than that, I do believe people wanted this to happen yesterday.
Well, here we are now.
You can't, with everything I'm hearing. And by the way, there were people on CNN. This is not the first time I'm hearing it from you, Jamaal Bowman, representative from District 16 in New York. Thank you for calling the program. Just newly elected and sworn in. This is not the first time I've heard this. Last night, reporters were saying that politicians were hitting them to get updates because they weren't receiving updates inside their place of employment.
Yeah. Which is insanity, right? So they set aside and gave us all the coronavirus vaccine to make sure we were protected because it's a matter of national security. But yesterday, during a anarchist domestic terrorist storming of the Capitol, the best they could do was say, stay in your office. Man, I went downstairs because, I couldn't stay in my office the whole time. After a while, I was like, I got to go see what the hell's going on in the building. I had my staff stay in the office. I went downstairs just to get a peek at what's going on. So I walked up to a couple brothers, officers, and just asked them, like, and I didn't mean it disrespectfully, but I was just like, is this it? Like, it was like 5 of them. Like, and I'm like, is this it? Like, if they storm through, this direction, I don't want to say where I was, but if they come through this direction, who else do we have? And their body language was just like, it's just us. And you could tell that they was pissed that it was just them and they didn't have more reinforcements to deal with a potential breach of that area. Like, they was just like, yeah, man, it's just us. Like, they was, and their body language was, how the hell did our supervisors or whomever put us in this position where it's only us, right? So it was crazy. And another colleague of mine who, you know, he's a military dude, so he could sniff it as it was brewing. He bounced before everything popped off because you don't want to be near the Capitol at that moment. You want to go. And that's what I was trying to do at that moment. I'm like, yo, I got to get my staff out of here. Like, we can't be here. If they run up in this office, it's over for us. And it was tens of thousands of them out there. So that's the thing, man. We got to do a thorough, honest analysis of what the hell happened, how did it happen, how to make sure it never happens again. And let me say real quickly, the entire world was watching us yesterday. The world.
How hard do you think Iran and Cuba are laughing?
They're like, yo, is that easy? Like, they probably like, yo, is that easy? Just run up in that shit. So, and here's what I also want to say. People didn't just storm the Capitol. They stormed the Speaker of the House's office.
Yeah, they sat in, they thrashed. Yo, they thrashed Nancy Pelosi's office. Paperwork everywhere.
Yeah, they stormed the House floor. And, you know, I'm not an advocate for violence either. I don't want to see that. But how the hell did we allow them to get to the House floor with no more aggressive response, man? When I'm seeing, you know, I have someone on my staff who was shot by a rubber bullet during the BLM protest.
They had not a rubber bullet in sight. And you know what else I want to point out for people, Jamaal?
Yeah.
Yo, you notice they didn't have the police on horseback.
Yo, come on, no helicopters.
Yo, no, but wait for it. When it's black people out there, they make sure to have that overseer on horseback.
That, you mean that slavery reminder?
They want that slavery reminder. Yesterday they had all them people out there, not a horse in sight.
Come on, man. Yo, I got up, you know, I was up early in the morning because they also told us to get here early. I saw a dude, and y'all probably saw this on social media. This dude was dragging a giant wooden cross down the street, yo.
Yo, fam.
Jesus?
Yeah, Jesus cross. Yo, you saw the noose. You
you
saw the
dragging a giant wooden cross. That shit was as big as like 2-3 people. He's dragging that. So that's the energy they coming with.
Wait, Jesus showed up yesterday.
Yeah, that was for Donald J. Trump.
Yo, this is
that's their Lord and Savior, Donald J. Trump.
What did the Klan? Y'all saw the pictures of nooses and all that. What did the Klan used to do? They used to burn crosses, right? Like,
yeah.
And this is what I'm saying. But then, so we know what we have to do from a security perspective to make sure we are in Fort Knox going forward. We can never be breached again, ever. But on the other side of it, this is where, when I talk about the subconscious, like, my colleagues continue to speak about American exceptionalism and behave as if this is not who we are. We are never going to write the policy and change what needs to be changed if they continue to believe that. So, and one silver lining maybe from yesterday was that now it has been revealed to the world what domestic terrorism is like in our country, who is facilitating that, and the arbiters of it. It has been revealed now. And
now, Jamaal.
Now that it has been revealed, we respond honestly and accordingly, because we are not honest with who we are as a country, and that's where we need to start going forward.
And that's why it happened yesterday, is because we're not honest. We're too arrogant about that American exceptionalism and that marketing that we've all been programmed with, that we are somehow better than nations that have been through this or may go through this periodically.
And historically, we've told a certain class of white people that they are good money because they at least they're white and they are better than black and brown people. And that's who was there storming the Capitol yesterday, that demographic of people, because Trump is also reminding them that, or telling them lies and feeding them lies and disinformation around they stole the election. This is your country. You need to do something about it.
Well, remember, those people, Jamaal, those people and Trump found each other. They were like losers in the lunchroom. You know,
that is their Lord. That is their Lord and Savior, Donald J. Trump Rosenberg.
Well, listen, and you're right, because Trump felt hated by the mainstream world. Hated by New York real estate elites. Hated by the political world. Then when he started the birther movement, he said, well, you know who messes with me? These white trash racists. They really like me. And the white trash racists, they're feeling like they're losing America. They're turning on TV and seeing black people and gay people and Jewish people. They're sick. So they found each other.
Yeah. The country's way too liberal for them. It's too liberal, too progressive. This is their country, their white country. They don't want to share it with anyone. They're not going to let anyone take it from them. And if they got to storm the Capitol to stop this, this is what they're going to do. And again, we have to have the same energy towards domestic terrorism. That needs to go to the top of our political agenda. How are we going to deal with the domestic terrorism in this country? How are we going to deal with the fallout from Trump? It's well documented, man. From the Las Vegas mass shooting to Dylan Roof to the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh, to the gentleman who went into the elementary school in Connecticut. Like, we have enough evidence to tell us, holy crap, we have to do something differently. And like I said, and like you all said before, it starts with being honest with who we are, and it starts with my colleagues, particularly on the Republican side. And let me shout out the Republicans who came in ready to object, and then after seeing that was like, I'm good. I'm not objecting. Let's keep it moving. That's quote unquote not who we are. So shout out to them. But there was still 100 and something Republicans in the House who were still objecting, which is basically telling me, okay, so you want Donald Trump to continue to be president.
Even after yesterday, they still want the guy who incited a riot to be president.
Yeah, they do, guys. Jamaal, and love, thank you for coming on the program. Jamaal Bowman representing District 16 right on YO. Parts of Westchester and all that. Look, just newly elected. Look, man, they're mad that black votes matter. This is about white supremacy, and they're mad. Anytime black people get any sort of social equity, Atlanta, Philly, Detroit, Milwaukee. Those votes came through, brought those states through, and they know that we see our own power, and this is how they lash out. That's what this is. And they could not get other white people to side with them in throwing out those black votes. Straight up.
Well, that's why this is such a perfect storm. Because think about what happened on the night before. Did we lose
Jamaal?
Nah, he's here.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear him.
We lost. Think about that, though. We lost. They lost their election on Tuesday. So they were like, wait, in Georgia? Even in Georgia? Yeah. So you're right. It's the perfect storm. They can't believe it.
Yeah, so Georgia is the deep South. Let's be clear. And Biden, a Democrat, carried Georgia. 2 Democrats won the Senate seats in Georgia, formerly held by 2 Republicans. Warnock is the first African-American senator in Georgia history. So everything, it affirmed what people already believe, right? They're trying to take our country. We want to have a race war, right? So there are people who believe that, and they're acting out. They're committing acts of terrorism to stoke the flames of that. I want to say this before I got to jump. It's really important for the general public to continue to do the work that we've been doing over the last several years around organizing, around running elections, around helping others to run elections, and around winning elections. That is going to have to be key across this country. There's still so many untapped resources in the Black, Indigenous, and Latino community, in the hip-hop community, where we need to start leaning into the political arena a lot more so we can get more real people who understand real America to come be policymakers here at Washington and at the state and city level. So, I don't want your listeners to get down or be downtrodden by the events that happened yesterday.
Oh, nah, we hype. What you talking about?
I know y'all hype.
This hype. We hype. Yo, if you listen to Ebro in the morning and you wasn't looking at TV like, yo, we voted and they this mad, now I know my vote counts.
Absolutely.
Well said.
And sometimes what seeps in is like, this is America. There's not much more I can do. This is just how they are. Let me just stay away from those white people, right? And I get that, but we have to continue to empower ourselves, not just through the vote and engaging politically, but listen, man, how we eat, how we exercise, what we're reading. We got to build our mind, body, and soul to fight this 401-year guerrilla of white supremacy. So I'm implore every listener, and I know y'all get people hype every day, to continue to do those things. Read mind, body, and soul development, because we're going to win, but it's going to take everyone. And when we have everyone, and I'm going to do everything in my power to no longer allow my colleagues to spew and live this lie of American exceptionalism. It's not. It's built on violence and genocide and slavery and white domestic terrorism.
Jamaal Bowman, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Great stuff, man.
Peace and love, y'all. Peace and love.
Peace.
Peace.
Yo, Jamaal.